Tuesday night. She walked past me like I was a chair someone forgot to move, opened the bedroom door with two careful fingers, and shut it just hard enough to rattle the frame. 10 seconds earlier, we were measuring a petty thing. Who left the lint trap full? I'd made a joke about finding a gray cat that didn't meow. She didn't smile. She just did that slow, rehearsed walk. Silence as punishment. A big showy quiet. I stood in the hallway with a dryer sheet in my hand, like an idiot at a parade no one invited me to. I tapped the door twice. Kate. Nothing. You're mad about laundry? Nothing again. Just the small click of the lamp on her side of the bed. The one she uses when she wants me to know she's awake and not available. If I'd known where that quiet was headed, I would have started packing that night. I went to the kitchen, put the dryer sheet in the trash, and made tea I didn't want. I left her half on the counter anyway. Habit. Hope, maybe. I sat at the table, stared at the hallway, and told myself this was a mood, not a lifestyle. That was my first mistake, giving it a name gentler than a no deserved. Morning looked ordinary. She moved around me the way dancers practice, not touching. The tea on the counter sat there cold. Morning, I tried. Her shoulder lifted like a shrug and kept going to the fridge. She poured almond milk into a glass, took one sip, and set it down. Is this about the lint or the calendar? I asked. Because if it's the calendar, I can. The fridge door shut. She stepped past. No eye contact. Right then, I learned something I should have known earlier. When someone uses quiet as a hammer, they expect you to offer your thumb. I'm heading to the shop, I added, grabbing my keys. If we're eating together tonight, text me by 3. She rinsed the glass like I was air. Door closed behind me. That was the signal. You let it go once, it becomes the language of the house. At the garage, Ray gave me a look you give a friend who forgot his tie. Ray's my foreman, 55, dry humor, a guy who has never once raised his voice and still runs the place by gravity. You look like the dog got the couch, he said, handing me an intake form. Dog got the whole living room, I told him. Guess we're doing charades at home. Fun game. Never liked it. He pushed a busted alternator across the counter. You gonna fix that at work or wait for the weekend? I'm not bringing the job home anymore, I said, thinking of that hallway. New policy. Good policy, he said, and didn't ask more. That's why I like Ray. He keeps a toolbox for people too. I got home early for once. I set the table, 2 plates, kept it simple, chicken, broccoli, rice. I poured water, not wine, because when alcohol shows up in a cold house it thinks it's the therapist. At 7, the bedroom door opened. She walked to the table, looked at the plates, and sat without a word. She ate like she was sitting on a plane next to a stranger. Are we talking? I asked. She glanced at me, then at the window. Chewed. The swallow sounded like a door closing. Kate, I told her, steady. If you're upset, say it. Don't make the house carry it. She reached for salt. 8. Silence. All right, I said, pushing my chair back. New rule. If we're not talking, we're not scheduling. No shared dinners, no shared plans. You want space, you'll have all of it. But it cuts both ways. She lifted one eyebrow for half a second. The kind of little smirk you give a kid who warns you he's calling his mom. You heard me. I added, not raising my voice, not begging. I'm not playing museum exhibit, so you can practice walking by. Starting tonight, I'll handle my own meals and time. You want something from me? Ask for it. English words. Otherwise, enjoy your quiet. She put down her fork. Finally, words. So dramatic. I'm boring when I'm respected, I replied. You'll love that version of me. She pushed her plate an inch away. I'm tired. Then sleep, I said, collecting my dish. I'll be in the den. And if you slam a door again, I'll remove that door from the hinges by the weekend. Not a threat. A DIY project. She stared, offended on behalf of all doors. You're unbelievable. I hear that a lot from people who thought I was easier. I took my plate to the sink. She knocked her chair back, just enough to express a feeling. Then she left, back to the bedroom, lamp clicked on. I washed the plates. The house felt like a hotel lobby at midnight. Wednesday at noon, I caught a piece of her voice drifting from the hallway while I was fixing the loose molding near the stairs. She was in the guest bath with the door not fully closed, talking into her phone. It wasn't meant for me, but it wasn't private either. He's stubborn, she said softly. He'll crack. He just needs to stop making everything a debate. A pause. No, I'm not texting first. When he's had enough, he'll come around. I put the hammer back in the toolbox, very calm. That was the first breadcrumb, the philosophy behind the quiet. Break the man, he delivers. That night, I didn't set plates. I put my keys in a bowl by the door, took my gym bag, and told her on my way out, I'll be at the gym till 9. If you want to talk, 10 minutes at 9:30. If not, then not. She looked over the rim of a magazine like a judge in traffic court. No answer. At 9:30, I sat in the den. 10 minutes. The house offered its usual sermon. At 9:40, I went to the guest room and slept just fine. By Friday, she'd escalated the little slights. Cold, then a touch of humor at my expense. We were both invited to a neighbor's cookout, Liam and Nora, across the street. Cheerful people who grill in any weather. I went solo. Kate texted at the last minute. You go? I'm tired. Fine. I brought a salad, stood by the grill with Liam. Where's Kate? Nora asked, offering me tongs. Home, I said. We're running a silent retreat. Nora laughed, then stopped when she saw my face. You okay? Better than I act. I told her. New boundaries. I'm practicing. That's adult, Liam said, flipping chicken. Most people just sulk and drink too much beer. Too much of anything is a lousy plan, I said. I made small talk, played cornhole, left at 9. When I got home, Kate was sitting at the table with a single glass of wine and the cleanest expression she could find. You couldn't text me that you'd be late? She opened. I dropped my keys in the bowl. I told you at 6 I'd be at Liam's. You said you were tired. It's common courtesy. So is speaking to your husband when he uses words. I said. Common courtesy is a two-way street, not a toll lane. She breathed through her nose as if she might discipline me by oxygen. Then, softer, she tried a new angle. Okay, she said. I was upset. Work's been a lot. I didn't handle it well. There it was, the first warm coat over the ice. I leaned on the counter. Do you want to reset? I asked. She nodded. Too quick. Sure. We're fine. No, I said. Reset means we talk about how to handle conflict next time. Reset isn't an eraser. Why do you need to label everything? Because if we don't label it, we just repeat it, I answered. Look, it's simple. If you need space, say, I need space, and I'll give it. But walking past me like furniture isn't space. It's a stunt. I'm done with stunts. She played with the stem of the glass. You're making it bigger than it is. It's my house too, I said. I get to decide what's big. She made a show of nodding. Okay, fine. We'll talk. Wonderful, I said. Then tomorrow, we keep our dinner with your sister, and we act like adults. She pursed her lips. We can skip if you want. We'll go, I told her. I want witnesses to this new adult thing. Her eyes narrowed. Witnesses. Figure of speech, I said, knowing exactly what I meant. Saturday, we drove to her sister's place. Emily collects throw pillows like they pay rent. We sat in a bright kitchen, plates of roast chicken and green beans in front of us. Emily's husband, Grant, friendly accountant, asked about the shop. Light conversation. It almost felt normal until Kate found a way to display her sport. Jason's very particular lately, she said, buttering bread. He's got these new policies about doors. Boundaries, I corrected, calm. And only for doors that get weaponized. Emily laughed nervously. Weaponized doors. That's a new one. Not that new, I said, glancing at Kate. Loud doors have been invading kitchens for years. Grant raised a palm like a referee. Well, I like a man with a plan. Good, I told him. Here's the plan. If we're not talking, we're not planning. If we're disrespecting, we're rescheduling. Starting Monday, I'm separating my budget for the month. Shared bills stay, but extras are on whoever orders the extras. No confusion, no resentment. Kate put her bread down with surgical precision. You're making a scene. No, I said. I'm making a distinction. Two very different things. Emily cleared her throat. Maybe we all just breathe. I'm breathing fine, I said. Just setting expectations the way adults do. Out loud. Kate gave me a smile with no warmth in it. You love control. You pretend it's about respect, but it's control. Respect and control are cousins, I replied. One you earn, the other you try to steal. Grant refilled my water like he was buying time for the nation. On the drive home, she stared out the window. You embarrassed me. You've been embarrassing me in our kitchen, I replied, eyes on the road. I just changed the venue. She laughed without humor. You think you're so composed. No, I said. I think I'm done being furniture. Sunday morning, she came into the den with a takeout bag from my favorite deli. She set the sandwich down in front of me like a peace treaty. I picked up your pastrami, she said. They know your order. I looked at the sandwich. Nice of them. What do you want? She perched on the arm of the chair. Maybe we got off track. I overreacted. We both did. We didn't both do anything, I answered. But I accept the sandwich. You don't have to be so rigid. Rigid keeps things straight, I told her. Eat your lunch. She hovered, waiting for me to soften. I took a bite, leaned back, and turned on the game without asking if she minded. A healthy adult picture. Two people sharing a room, both allowed to exist. After halftime, she drifted away, probably to rehearse new lines. Monday, I posted our monthly budget on the fridge: mortgage, utilities, grocery split. Netflix and dinners out moved to individual. I set a new calendar rule on my phone: no default invites. If she wanted my time, she'd see a blank slot and ask. That afternoon, I switched my gym time to 7 p.m. and put my phone on favorites only. Kate didn't know she'd been demoted to voicemail, but the tiny piece of not checking every buzz was better than any speech I could have made. Wednesday at the shop, she showed up unannounced. It's not her place, but she knows the route. She stood near the front desk with a canvas tote that said "Support Local," as if that made her less tactical. Hey, she greeted, friendly enough to fool a stranger, not enough to fool me. Lunch. Ray looked up from a stack of work orders. His eyebrow did the thing it does when he senses a fire he won't put out. I'm slammed, I told her. And we don't do drop-ins here. Text next time. It's lunch, Jason. It's my job, Kate, I replied. Same rule as home. Use words, make plans. She glanced at Ray, who busied himself with a pen that didn't need that much attention. So dramatic, she repeated, a new catchphrase she wore like perfume. Hey, Ray cut in, spinning his pen once. We like quiet around here. The useful kind. She blinked. Right. I'll walk you out, I offered. We stepped into the sun. I kept my voice even. We meet tonight at 8 in the kitchen. No phones. 10 minutes of truth. If you need more time, ask. Her mouth did a small twist. You're setting appointments now? Better than waiting by a closed door. She rolled her eyes, then flipped to soft. Fine. 8. At 8, I sat at the table. She came in at 8:05, sat, clasped her hands like a student with a graded paper. Go ahead, I said. I felt dismissed, she started. By what? I asked. By your directness, she said. You act like my feelings are tactics. Act. I repeated. Or notice. You twist everything, she said. Okay, I replied. If I twisted it, untwist it. Tell me the clean version. I'm tired, Jason. I'm overwhelmed at work. When I get home, I don't want to debate. Then say, I need 10 minutes to decompress, I said. Instead of turning the house into a museum. You think you're perfect. I think I'm clear, I answered. Clear isn't perfect. It's respect. She sat back. You're punishing me with all these rules. Rules wouldn't be necessary if courtesies were consistent, I returned. This is the last time we have this talk. Next time, I move according to my rules regardless of your mood. You won't, she said. You like me too much. I smiled, small and real. Watch me. The next 2 weeks lived in a pattern. She'd go cold. I'd stay polite and absent. I joined an early morning group at the Y, stopped killing myself to be home by 6, and stopped chasing a smile that didn't want to be caught. Each silence from her devalued itself. When you don't feed a stunt, it goes on a diet. 25th day, Thursday. I came home at noon to grab a tool from the garage. Her car was in the driveway. Inside, quiet. I stepped lightly toward the bedroom because light steps teach you what a house is telling you. The door was open an inch. She was on the phone, voice low but clear. No, listen, she said. It's an experiment. He's stubborn, but it works. His face when I stop talking? He starts checking me like I'm a thermostat. He'll need me. Then he'll stop pushing. Silence on the other end. I give it a few more days, she continued. He'll break on his own. He always does when it's just us. I didn't move. I counted to 10, not for calm, but for detail. Then she laughed quietly at something the other person said. A light, happy sound meant for someone who enjoyed her strategy. I walked back down the hall, picked up the forgotten screwdriver, and left. In the garage, I stood for a minute and let the shape of it click into place. Not a mood. Not stress. A program. Train a man to chase a sound. Create thirst he can't quench except by behaving. All right. If this was science, the experiment was over. Friday morning, I scheduled an appointment with an attorney I've used for contracts. We shook hands in his calm office with thick carpet. I told him the facts, not the feelings, and signed what needed signing. No drama. Just my name on paper and a plan that didn't need permission. I called a friend with a small moving company, Evan, ex-Marine, who likes checklists more than speeches. We set a date. I opened a short-term lease on a furnished one-bedroom near the river, month to month, nothing fancy. I moved my personal accounts off auto-pay for anything optional. I boxed things she never noticed I owned. My father's old level, the fishing rod I fix every spring and never use, the 3 books I actually reread. Logistics are love when you love yourself. At work, Ray looked at me from across the bay and just nodded once, the way men nod when you finally lift the weight instead of talking about it. "You good?" he asked. "Better," I told him. I was walking in circles. Now I'm walking in a line. He tapped the invoice with a wrench. Lines are faster. That night, Kate made spaghetti and set the table like we were dating again. Second illusion. Warmth dialed up past comfortable, past natural, into performance. "Smells good," I said, taking a seat but not taking off my jacket. She reached out, touched my forearm. "I'm sorry," she said. "I've been off." "I see that. You're right about the house. About the doors. I want to do better." I studied her face. Soft eyes. The exact notes a person plays when they don't want to lose the game, not the partner. "Okay," I answered. "One night at a time." She lit candles. She asked me about my day and actually listened or acted like it, which grilled just like listening tastes when you haven't had it. After dinner, she put on a show we both used to watch. She sat closer. When the credits rolled, she tilted her head. "So," she said, sweet, "how about we take a long weekend? Just us? Your calendar is open." A small smile. I checked. There it was. Open calendar used as an invite and a flex. "I'm booked," I said. Her face tightened. "With what?" "My plans," I said. "One night at a time." The sweetness flickered. "You're doing this to punish me." "No," I said, standing. "I'm doing this to stop you from thinking you run the thermostat." She went quiet, then too bright again. "Okay, tomorrow we'll talk. No mind games." "Tomorrow," I repeated. And I meant it, but not the way she thought. Saturday, I left early. I picked up the note cards from the drugstore and a small bouquet from the grocer because I can be polite even when exiting. On the way back, I stopped at Evan's storage unit to drop the boxes I didn't want to leave in the house. Evan handed me a bottle of water like a coach. "You look like a man who started running," he said. "I like the air out here," I told him. "Need help Monday?" he asked. "Tuesday," I said. "Early. Keep it quiet." He nodded. My favorite setting. Sunday night. Kate acted like someone trying to show a good impression for an audience that wasn't in the room. She folded my t-shirts. She asked if I wanted tea. She put her phone face down, then peeked at it often. I stuck to my script. Clear, present, polite, and already gone. Monday passed with her cycling through careful questions. "Do you think we're okay? Are we still us?" My answers were precise. "We're whatever we're being," I said, "and I'm making decisions based on that." She didn't like that answer. It didn't give her a handle to grab. At midnight, she went to bed, leaving the door open like it was a gesture. Tuesday dawned day 29. I got up at 5. I set the bouquet on her side of the bed. Yellow flowers because they're cheerful and unromantic. Beside them, the note I'd written with my simplest pen. "Thanks for the best month of our marriage." I left the divorce packet on the kitchen island, already signed by me, with a sticky note on top. "Review when ready." The rest is scheduled. Keys on the counter. Garage opener on the hook. My bag in the truck. At 6, she came down in leggings, hair tied, ready to do her grand quiet before heading out to a yoga class she actually never enjoyed. She walked into the kitchen, saw the papers, and dropped the water bottle. Cap rolled under the dishwasher. She stood there long enough for the fridge to hum, then grabbed the documents like they might fly away. "Seriously?" came from her like a cough. I was at the door, not sneaking, not dramatic. "Breakfast is in the microwave," I told her. "I'm heading out." She spun. "You can't just." "I can and I am," I said. "I don't live under experiments." "What does that mean?" she said, color rising. "You know what it means," I replied. "I heard your call." Day 25. He'll need me. He'll break on his own. Here's the truth, Kate. I don't need you. I chose you. There's a difference. And I'm done choosing someone who treats quiet like a leash. She slammed the drawer, hitting her old note about buying lemons. You eavesdropped. Call it whatever helps. I was in my house, and I heard my name used like a chess piece. You're overreacting, she tried. I'm reacting, I said. Exactly enough. She took a step close, tried one more tactic. We can fix this. I already did. I told her, tapping the papers. This is me fixing it. I set rules. You used them against me. You trained for silence. I trained for exits. You'll be back, she said automatically, like reciting a script. I smiled, because I knew that line would come. If quiet is your plan, enjoy it. After today, you get all the quiet you wanted. Is there someone else? She asked, desperate for a reason she could control. There's me, I answered. And he's done standing still. She grabbed the bouquet from upstairs and tossed it onto the island like she could return it to the store without a receipt. The card skidded across to my side. I left it there. You're cruel, she tried. No, I said. I'm clear. I walked to the door. She followed. Where will you go? She demanded. A place where the silence is restful, I said. I left the house to you for now. I'll handle my things quietly. And Kate. She waited for a pleading line that didn't come. Thanks for the best month of our marriage. I finished, the word she'd find upstairs anyway. It taught me everything I needed. I left. No slam, no extra theater. In my truck, my phone lit up with her call before the engine turned over. I let it go to voicemail. By the second block, there were 3. By the time I hit the on-ramp, there were 12. I drove to the apartment, took the stairs 2 at a time, opened the door to a clean, boring space with a view of a parking lot, and exhaled like a man whose lungs finally remembered how. All day, she called. All day, I didn't answer. She texted like a marketer, long, short, angry, sweet. We can talk. This is dramatic. Where are you? I'll change. I made dinner. I set the phone face down and went to work. Ray didn't ask. He just handed me the clipboard with a small grin. You look taller, he said. Feels like it, I replied. At lunch, Evan texted, boxes moved. No mess. I sent a thumbs up. That's how men congratulate each other, through gravity and completed lists. By evening, she was calling from a number I didn't recognize. Then another. Then messaging my sister, who wrote, You good? I told my sister I was better than good. I was precise. She sent a heart and a finally. I went to the Y, did my laps, went back to the apartment, ate eggs, and slept. The quiet there felt like a blanket you chose, not a gag someone tied. Weeks later, after papers and signatures without court drama or talking in circles, I got the house. She moved out. I didn't gloat. I changed the door code, had the locks rekeyed, and scheduled a painter. I brought back my boxes and put my father's old level in the garage where it knew the walls. The kitchen stopped auditioning for a play and went back to being a kitchen. Doors opened and closed like doors. No sermons. She didn't bother me after the settlement. I think she tried to find the apartment that first day. She called all afternoon, according to my log. She pinged a few friends. She asked Nora if she'd seen me. Nora told her, politely, that she had errands. People learn, even the chorus. Now my mornings are quiet, but not the showy kind. There's coffee at 6, the paper at 6:30, and a quick note to myself pasted on the fridge. Respect is a daily chore. I date someone grown. Rachel, a nurse who laughs with her eyes and shows up when she says she will. She doesn't treat silence like a tool. When she's tired, she says, I'm tired. When she's mad, she says, I'm mad. Revolutionary technology. Ray stopped me last week by the lift. You're steadier, he observed. Less furniture, I said. He chuckled. Solid wood now. On Sundays, I take the truck down to the river, not to fish, just to sit. My phone sits face down not because I'm hiding from anyone, but because I've got better things to look at, even if it's nothing much. House is paid. Work's good. Friends didn't pick sides. They just kept their doors open. The silence at home doesn't perform. It rests. If a door closes, it's because there's a draft. Sometimes I think about that first night, the careful walk, the staged slam, the quiet meant to shape me. I wish I'd set the rules sooner, but I'm not mad I learned late. You learn when you learn. I didn't win by outlasting her or by throwing the same cold back. I won by leaving the game and taking my dignity with me. That's the only scoreboard worth reading. If you're waiting for the last line, it's simple, and it's the one I left on the bed with the flowers. It was true then, and it's truer now. Thanks for the best month of our marriage. It taught me the only thing I couldn't ignore. I don't live in experiments. I live in a house where words mean what they say, and doors are just doors.